These are multiple red flags. First of all, the age of the house, right? That's red flag number 1.
Yeah.
Yes.
Red flag number 2, neighbors that pop up and know shit about the house.
Yes.
Red flag number 3, Prohibition era stuff.
Right.
Red flag number 4, a religious group living there.
All right, everybody, welcome to Ectoplasm and Evil.
Ectoplasm and Evil, let's go. We got a very special guest in the building today. It's our homeboy, Adam Eugenio. Give it up for Adam.
Oh, thanks for having me, y'all. I'm super excited to be here.
Well, I mean, for the longtime listeners of the podcast, for all 8 episodes that exist as of today, you'll recognize Adam as the person who is responsible for our amazing theme song.
Yes, we would have no theme song without Adam.
Yeah.
That was fun to make.
Yeah, Adam actually made an amazing theme song for my upcoming podcast as well.
Yes.
Which you guys will hear. But the moral of that story is if you need a theme song,
super dope beat
I'm your
maker.
guy.
it's at Adam Eugenio. He's got the sauce. And so that's something, I mean, to let the listeners know how we connected.
Yeah.
Give them a little backstory. Actually, I connected with Adam's wife first. It was on a group for actors and models and photographers. And you guys had just moved to LA.
Yep.
You were starting up your photography business and looking for people to take photos of. And me being the vain individual that I am, I was like, oh yeah, my wife and I are down for that. And then we linked up. We took photos, which were amazing. Some of our favorite photos of ourselves to date.
Absolutely.
But in that same meeting, not only did we hit it off and we hung out a few times, but then you let me know that you were into music as well.
Yeah.
You showed me some beats and I was like, oh fuck, you're not like into music. You're like into music.
You are music.
Yeah, because people say that, and
Yeah.
especially in Los Angeles, people say that, and then you hear shit, you're like, okay, well, yeah. The crazy thing is, we are halfway to Halloween.
Yes, it's Halloween.
Wow. Oh, good point.
Yeah. Theoretically, it was April 30th and May 1st. People argue over which one it was.
Right.
But we drop on Thursdays, so this is our halfway to Halloween episode.
Yeah, why not half a week,
Half a week.
Celebrate for the week.
Half a week, yeah. I mean, we do Halla week.
We do.
We do Halla like 2 months, really. So.
We do.
The best season, really. So.
Yeah, that's big facts.
Once Michaels rolls out the Lemax collection, it's
over.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's time.
It's spooky season.
Yes.
So Adam had a pretty dope story that he wanted to share that took place on Halloween. But before we get into that, Adam, tell us what you've been up to recently, man.
I've been working on my sound design on my TikTok and, of course, making some beats, working on a few personal projects with my music that hopefully will be coming out here soon. But I swear everything's always a work in progress. And
it's kind of how it goes, huh?
Yeah.
Yes. Other than that, just trying to make it through till Halloween.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, that's kind of the plague of all creatives. I feel like we are all invested in various projects at once and sometimes never finish them.
Yes. Well, I've been trying to push myself a little bit to kind of have some accountability and make sure that I do finish at least some of these things.
Yeah.
I get it.
Well, we do always appreciate whenever we need you, you're there for us,
That's
man.
facts.
Oh, hey, and same goes right back at you both. But what are friends for? That's
Big facts. No, we get by with a little help from our friends. I'm
Yes.
a big believer in
Absolutely.
that. Adam, you are from Michigan, correct?
Well, I grew up in Michigan. Technically, I guess I was born in Texas, but
I don't think I ever knew that.
I don't think I knew that either.
San Antonio, yeah.
Wow.
Shit.
But I moved away from there when I was like 2, so does that really count? I don't know.
It counts. I mean,
It
you were
counts.
born there.
Yeah, Michigan is pretty much where I spent most of my time.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like you. You were born.
Yeah, I was born in a suburb right outside of Boston. Then I lived in Austin.
I don't think I knew that either, so
We're all learning
We're all
things
we're
today.
learning
things.
things, yeah.
Does anybody hear that fucking beep?
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
What is, yeah, I was...
Is that in our house? I've never heard that sound in my
It
life.
can't be. It can't be. Hang on. Okay, well, carry on. So you moved from Boston to Austin.
Well, technically Boston to New Hampshire to Austin. It was just Boston and Austin rhyme, so I felt like that would be cooler. But yeah, Boston, New Hampshire, Austin. And then finally we made our way over to California, which is where I've been most of my life.
Yeah.
Wow, that's totally new information to me. I guess I should add then, we're going into the details like that. I guess when I moved away from Texas, we went to Portland and then to Michigan. So a little bit of a similar situation, I guess, but kind of the reverse in a way.
Yeah. Well,
bit of a
all right, so
tour.
you guys have all lived all over the place. I'm just born and raised in New York.
Well, I mean, that's cool
Yeah.
enough to
Yeah, you don't need to go anywhere else.
No, that's true. You're already in the best spot. Yeah, so that's what's up, man. So I brought that up because Michigan is where your story takes place, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so you guys, you want to hear the...
Let's get into it.
Let's
Let's
get
get
into
into
it.
it.
Okay, so this actually takes place in a house that my wife and I used to live in.
Okay. And were you married at the time?
Actually, this is pre-marriage.
Okay.
For us. And right before we got married, actually. And so this house was not quite 100 years old at the time.
Okay.
But quickly approaching that age. What is that, a centennial?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Correct term?
that's already a red flag in terms of hauntedness.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
You take your 100-year-old houses carefully there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Facts.
You never know what happened in them.
You never know. As a matter of fact, after we moved in, one of my first memories of our time in that house was meeting the neighbors who came over, and they had been next door for not quite 100 years, but almost, I guess. And so they came over to kind of tell us the history of this house and tell us things. Well, I bet you didn't know this about the house. I bet you didn't know that.
This is already like a horror movie.
That reminds me of that show. What was that show?
Watcher.
The Watcher, yeah, where all the neighbors know about each other's houses.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But it is
Yeah.
kind of like a trope too, where when people come in, the neighbors are sort of usually like aware of things.
I've been in
That's
that
true.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that actually, now I'm going to go back and rewatch The Watcher.
Yeah.
I've seen that. Yeah. And it reminded me of those neighbors too, because they would kind of just pop up, randomly. And
That's crazy.
Stop. Nobody likes
like
that.
you'd go out in the backyard, you think you're by yourself and you'd hear like dude's voice and you realize that he's been watching you the whole time.
Hashtag the Watcher.
Yeah, it was, as far as I know, they weren't ghosts, but they were creepy enough to be, I guess. So.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes that's creepier than a ghost, man.
That's
yeah.
real.
facts.
Yeah.
So anyway, some of the things that they told us about this house was, they said, hey, well, did you find the secret drawer under the stairs? And we're like, no, because...
Holy shit.
Yeah, right? These are an old set of stairs that went up to the attic. And somewhere over the years, they'd been carpeted over. So that specific set, you couldn't really see much under the stairs, obviously. Well, they took us on the tour, I guess, like I say. They said, yeah, it's that one right there, the fourth or fifth one up. I don't exactly even remember. And it was used during Prohibition era to stash the...
Stash the booze.
Yes.
Oh, shit.
So, who knows,
All right, well, another red flag. Prohibition era shit, haunted for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know so many
Absolutely.
people that have experiences with Prohibition ghosts.
You never know what type of debauchery took place
Right.
during that era. So at first I was like, oh, well, that's creepy, but it's also like historical. So
Yeah.
it just seemed kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, and cool in a way. But one of the things that kind of started to creep me out is they were like, well, at a certain time, this house was actually lived in by a men's religious group.
A men's religious group?
Specifically, men only religious group.
What the fuck?
Well,
So a cult.
That's kind of how I took it. I was like, all right, and they said there was like kind of a lot of them. It was a big house, but I think I remember them saying there was like 10 or 11 of them.
What?
Yeah, like, kind of weird, right?
Yeah,
all live together in
broing
this
out,
house?
just broing out with the bros.
live together with the ghosts that are in there. Or
So it
whatever.
was like a glorified frat house.
Yeah, but with a weird twist on the whole thing.
It was the He-Man Woman Haters Club from Little Rascals, but they never grew up.
I don't remember what they were called or really what their religious affiliation was, but I just remember thinking like, wow, that was not something that I expected to hear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that goes into like the Prohibition. You're like, all right, that's kind of cool, and then that you're like, that's kind of disturbing.
yeah, I'd rather not
Yeah,
think
like
about that.
what did they do? Is there like ceremonies?
So
or
that's
just,
that's
Yeah.
another red flag. I mean, these are multiple red flags. First of all, the age of the house, right?
Yes.
That's red flag number one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Red flag number two, neighbors that pop up and know shit
Yeah.
about the house.
Yes.
Red flag number three, Prohibition era stuff.
Right.
Red flag number four, a religious group living there. These are all things that we have seen in horror movies, and they never spell anything good.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nothing good comes from it. But at that point, we'd already gotten into the place. It wasn't like we could just back out of it.
Right. And plus, you didn't necessarily have a reason because nothing happened yet.
No,
right?
yeah, exactly. So, that kind of brings me to the next thing that they didn't actually show us this. And I almost think that that's more odd that they didn't have any commentary about this next fact about the house was in the basement. And when I say basement, it was as creepy as you might imagine a basement in an old place like that would
Right.
be, I
Yeah.
mean, you had to turn on the lights with the string.
Oh, that kind of light?
Yeah,
No,
like-
fuck all that.
You got some
No,
spider webs up in there?
Oh, Spider City, an entire metropolis of spiders. And
Fuck.
no.
So definitely gave me like.
So let's just
Yeah, let's paint a
identify.
picture.
No, I just want to say that red flag number 5 is these kind of lights. For the listeners that are not watching, we're talking about those lights where the little chain dangles, a
Yeah.
chain or a string dangles. It's usually like a singular flickery bulb.
Yeah.
And it doesn't
Exactly.
work right, and then you got to pull it. That's bad news.
One day when your house is like being actively haunted, you're pulling that chain and that light's not turning on for shit.
Yeah, you don't want to find yourself in the dark, and that's your only source.
No.
Of light.
Yeah.
So that's the type of vibe that was in the basement, which, I kind of avoided it just because, I mean, other than like, laundry and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
We had
So
to
the
go down
the
there.
washing machine was down
It was
there.
down there. So
Ah.
you did have to go down there.
So that's like
pretty
Home Alone.
often.
You was like Kevin
was
having to
thinking that.
battle the
I was actually going to say it did remind me, but it was like the Home Alone version of the basement was like nice compared
Right.
to
right,
this.
because his was just like a house that had stuff in it.
Yeah.
His like parents stored things, and it was scary just because he was a kid and it was a basement.
Right.
But yours
Exactly.
was an actually creepy
Did
basement,
it have any loose floorboards anywhere or anything like that?
or
You know,
even floor at all.
It was well, actually that kind of ties into the story here. So
Okay.
the main part of the floor was poured over in concrete. I don't really actually know if that, because a lot of those Michigan houses, the whole floor, there would be dirt in some of those old, I think they call that a Michigan basement, but you'd have to fact check me on that.
Okay.
I don't 100% know.
We can look it up.
That was something that was in a way in and of itself kind of like special about the basement being that age. But there was a side of the basement on the farthest kind of wall when you would walk down the stairs that had I don't really know how else to phrase it other than a secret makeshift room.
Oh, fuck.
Secret rooms, that
the red
shit's gonna be
flags are
fucked.
escalating. They're just escalating.
Yeah.
Every detail is a redder flag than the one. before.
Then we're like crimson.
Jesus Christ.
Yes,
That-
yes.
Yeah.
To tie back into your question about the floor, that particular room, I don't even know if that was on the like official plans and everything. It was something that was done by somebody who owned the place in the past at some point. It was kind of hard to really get any kind of read on how old it was, but we're talking like they took cinder blocks out of the wall and they put in an old door that I actually don't know where it came from, but it was like an old wooden door,
Fuck, yeah.
like with the glass handle and everything.
Oh no! The rattling of those, that's a horror movie trope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it was the way that the door was, it was not something that you could easily open because on the other side there was like a big part of it was dirt floor that they actually did cover over some sections of it with wood. It was almost like, not like shelving, but it was kind of like they built some kind of, I don't want to say seating in it, but it almost looked like when you'd open it.
Oh wow!
This is like
So the fuck
you
was going on
kidnap
there?
someone and you put them in that room. This sounds like a religious
Some kind of a ritual,
sacrifice,
right?
Yeah.
I mean,
And
Offering
it's
room.
important to note, everyone out there, that just take a second here. Not only was he doing some creepy shit there, but it wasn't up to code. He was breaking the law.
Yeah.
Right? This is unsanctioned additions to the house.
I don't know much about that whole city codes and everything, but
I was just being stupid.
my guess is that it was not up to code because I mean, like I said,
It wasn't up to
It's not in
city
the
code, but it
plans.
was up to Satan's code.
that's probably true. Yeah. I mean, it was definitely. Now when you'd walk into the room, it was very small in there, and
course.
there was a part of it that was like kind of closed off. Like if you wanted to, which I didn't, so I never did this, but you could crawl over part of the wall and go even farther in.
What
Oh
the
my God.
fuck?
Yeah.
I call bodies back there.
To be honest, that I was like, I don't really know if I want to know what's
Right.
all the way back there.
Because sometimes it's like, I mean, if for anyone that watches enough scary movies,
Yeah,
and I
you know
consider-
there's some shit back
It's like, well, also sometimes they suggest at least that if people hadn't like bothered it, that nothing would
would've
happen.
been chill.
So maybe he did the right thing, because imagine if
We just rewatched Evil Dead, and that's exactly what the fuck
I was actually
happened.
thinking about Evil Dead when he was talking about the basement and all that shit. Yeah. And yeah, if they had left well enough alone,
It would have been.
imagine he goes
bound in the
back
book.
there and there's a book. And then
Oh,
curiosity
no.
gets the better of him.
No
He starts,
way.
yeah.
You start reading from the book, and we all know what happens.
We all know what happens. We seen the movies. You seen Evil Dead. You seen The Mummy. Bad shit happens. The moral of the story is stop reading.
Stop
Don't
reading.
read that. Yeah. You see a book, you leave it where it's at. Don't open it. Well, it's funny, because that kind of ties into some of the other experiences that I had, and I should say we had at the house. So, it wasn't right away that things kicked up, and knowing those kind of things, having some experience and exposure to some of the stories in the house, I will say it did give me a little bit more of a creepy vibe than I anticipated,
Right.
because I try to kind of brush some of those things off, especially if it's a place you're living. What are you going to do? Like move? I mean, so
Not everybody has that luxury.
you try to get
Yeah.
a little comfortable. But I will say that I would feel, I don't know if you would call it dread, maybe that's, but certainly some of the
You felt uneasy.
Yeah.
uneasiness, you'd get moments where you get the tingling on the spine. Actually, I have a couple stories. I'm trying to figure out the most chronological way to go into all of this. But let me start with this one.
Okay.
So one day I'm in the house by myself, and it was a situation where I sort of started getting some of that kind of sensation again of
Yeah.
like what's the tingles down the spine, hairs on the back of the neck standing up. And I'm like, just chill, it's probably nothing.
Your mind playing games
Your
on
mind
yeah.
playing. And so I was like, but you know what, I'm gonna go outside and just remind myself, like, hey, like it's a nice day,
A little
Right.
fresh air.
get some fresh air. So go out in the backyard and just kind of take a few minutes. And so I go out there, and I'm starting to feel cool about it again. And I don't know, it'd been maybe 5-10 minutes that I was out there, and I go to go back in,
Yeah.
because it was the back door that I went out. And so because the front door, to be honest with you, just it looked more creepy than the back door. It was like, had the old glass and that stuff.
So if
Yeah,
you're trying to
it's
put your mind at
spooky.
ease,
You're
you
trying
don't
to
want
put
to go through that one.
You
No.
don't want to go through that one. Yeah. As a matter of fact, the back door was like newer. There was another part actually that had been added on. It was a little, like, I think they call it a mud room or a coat room or something like
Oh.
that.
Interesting.
Very small, but it was definitely something that was added onto. Anyway, the point is, I go back inside, and the door is locked.
Oh, fuck.
I know, and I'm like, I have the keys, and I definitely didn't. I wouldn't.
And is this the type of door? This is not the type of door that could lock automatically.
Yeah.
We're talking like deadbolt was locked.
Oh, shit.
fuck.
Yeah, like it
And
was
no one else
all
is
the
in
way
there.
locked. Nobody else is in there, and I didn't lock it because
Yo.
I was planning to go back inside.
Yeah.
in
Of course.
a few minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm like, whoa, like that. I called my wife. I was like, yo, this is what just happened to me. Like, can you think of any reason that I'm not thinking of? Like how that would happen?
yeah.
She's like, no, I don't know. So I'm like, all right, well, I was feeling good. Now, I guess
Now you're feeling far worse.
I feel like, now you're
feeling worse. I guess I'm gonna go back inside though, because I don't
Bro,
want
you better than me. I would have been.
Yeah,
I would have
I
not.
would be in the car.
Yeah.
to do some grocery shopping or something.
Yeah.
Well, so I went back in, and it was a situation where, even though I was kind of like weirded out, nothing else that day really took place.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I kind of
So you see, maybe it's an isolated incident. You thought to yourself, maybe there is a rational explanation that I just don't know.
I tried to convince myself. I'm like, you must have locked the door out of habit, and I'm
you
like,
just forgot.
I would have remembered that, you know.
Yeah.
It was because you had to really like work the key.
Yeah.
To
And plus, right, if you're just popping into the backyard for air, locking the door is not natural.
It doesn't
Right,
make
because
sense.
you're not
there.
leaving.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I didn't hear anything, you know. I didn't hear the lock move or anything like that.
Right.
But yeah, so that was something that kind of gave me pause. Where to this day I'm still like, how did that happen?
I just had a funny vision. Like he's like freaking out. He just noticed it. Neighbor pops up over the head. He's like, yo, you discovered that lock yet?
Well, that lock is known to. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, that's probably why I went back inside, because I was trying to avoid
The neighbors.
the neighbors. Yeah, you want to go deal with the ghosts, or you want to deal with the neighbor? So I made a judgment call there, I guess. But so yeah, you know, and so here's where well, I guess I should say next is where things kind of started getting a little bit weirder.
Oh boy, weirder than that.
Weirder than that.
Yeah, that's already pretty
Fuck,
weird.
Yeah.
Well, this started to coincide with some of the, you know, the work that we were doing, just kind of basic updates to the house, but still, you know, I guess things that you might say could be considered disturbing.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is, I should have been keeping count, but this is another.
I would say 11, 10 or 11.
Yeah, because when you that's the thing, right? You go into these old houses, and then you start renovating and stirring shit up.
Then you start finding shit.
And that's when shit hits the fan.
I mean, you know, we were talking just some basic painting and that kind of thing, up to some repairs. I don't really remember, because in an old house like that, like pretty much every week you find something that needs to be fixed. So it was.
Isn't it
kind of
interesting how like you don't even know what type of things, like spirits are just so grumpy, like they'd be like, oh, I want him to change the paint.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that. Paint.
Yeah, I like that paint. Fuck this guy.
I'm locking him out of the house.
So, you know, it was a situation where I would say some of those kind of creepier feelings sort of started to present themselves a little more often. But again, it's like, you know, are you just creeped out because you think something weird happened with the door and
Right.
you know, the whole other 9 yards of the
Can I
experience?
ask you, did you ever, like, when it was you and Ash in the crib, did you ever kind of like feel it at the same time and be like, yo, Ash, like, you feel a little uneasy right now? And she was like, yeah.
You know, I'll say this about my wife is she falls asleep, and I swear, you know, there could be a ghost that walked right across the room.
She wouldn't
and
know.
She would be
Yeah,
over there
she's
snoring.
out.
Yeah,
So-
I
Good for her.
envy that. I envy that.
Hey, same,
Yeah.
same. You know,
That's
totally.
Yeah.
Really
Okay,
good
so you-
premise for a funny horror movie.
Right.
It is, yeah. Okay, so you were kind of left alone with your thoughts in the darkness.
Oftentimes,
Yeah,
yeah.
left
so,
alone with your thoughts with the spirits.
Yeah.
So you know, it was a bigger house, and so with that said, one of the ideas that I got along the way was I was like, well, hey, let's get like some cameras in here, because if somebody breaks in, I want to know where they're at, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
before
Naturally.
anything happens. So we had some of those, you know, just like Best Buy type of cameras. and
Cool,
they
yeah.
send you the feed or whatever. And as a matter of fact, my friend Randy was over when this happened, and he saw it happen. I think we had maybe set the cameras up like the day before. They were pretty new. And I was telling him about it. I was like, yeah, man, like, you know, it's a big place. I don't want to like walk into the darkness if there's like somebody, you know, here to do some kind of
A
harm or
neighbor,
whatever.
perhaps.
A neighbor, perhaps. Yeah. So as I'm talking about it and I'm showing him the video, we hear a voice come across like through the video
Get the
feed.
fuck out.
He was like, "What was that?" And I'm like, "I don't know. You know, I don't know how to explain that."
Was it garbled? Was it clear?
I mean, it was definitely a voice, but I don't know what it said. It was like,
Did it whisper?
no, it was like an out loud kind of like
Gee,
voice.
oh my God.
Yeah, like and it maybe lasted for what would have taken like a word or two. Like it wasn't long. And so by the time we're hearing it, we kind of were like, and then it was over, you know.
Oh my
And
gosh.
this was these particular ones I don't think I had set up the record feature, so we couldn't like go back and be like, what was that?
You were just
Right.
looking at it live.
We were just looking at it live and had to
Yo.
That's
guess, you
so
know.
Fuck.
creepy.
I wish I would have been able to record
That
it.
would have been amazing.
Yeah, that would have been good to be able to bring on and show y'all. But yeah, at the time I didn't have it set up like that. I think honestly, I think it was like an extra cloud plan or something.
Right.
You know, so I didn't want to get too deep into the investment.
upgrades.
Yeah, exactly. So you know, that was something that I'll never forget, and I know he wouldn't forget that either. And I actually, Ash was there too, so we all three heard it, as a matter of fact.
Oh, wow.
And so what was your immediate thought process then? Like, did that spark you more to be like, I don't know if I want to be here anymore?
Well, you know, it was the first reaction was being stunned, of course, and then
Yeah.
we go into the room where the camera's at, because it was like across the house. And, you know, like, okay, is there a window open?
Right.
You know, was somebody outside?
What could this catch?
Yeah.
But it was closed up, and, you know, there was nothing that we could come up with that made any kind of sense for that.
Now, was this a male voice? Could you
You
tell?
know, it was hard to say. It wasn't like a deep, you know, kind of sound.
Yeah.
It was a little bit higher pitched. I would say it could have been man or woman's voice. You know, it was
Gender
so short.
fluid voice.
Gender
It
fluid
was so
voice.
short. Yeah, exactly. It was so short. You know, it was like as soon as we heard it, it was over. So it was hard to really make a lot of assessment other than just like
Right, because you heard
Did
it
you
for a
hear that?
split second and then you couldn't review it.
we couldn't review it.
Yeah,
So that was a weird experience.
that is.
That's so scary.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was another one where I was like, hey, I'm glad that I'm not the only one here.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
Other
the-
people can verify that you're not insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
It
the other one,
happened.
I'm questioning myself. I'm like, well, I had to have locked the door. I had to have done that and just not
Yeah.
remembered it. But yeah. So anyway, as time progressed, you know, the weeks and months went on. We start getting into Halloween season, which
Yeah.
Yes.
I was excited for, despite all of the other.
Because you're a lover of Halloween.
Spooky season.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you know,
it's one
so-
of the things we bonded over early, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it was something I was looking forward to, and I'm like, hey, like this is kind of a good location for this. I mean,
Couldn't be
overall,
better, yeah.
We passed out candy, did that whole thing, and
Did you guys get a lot of trick-or-treaters in that neighborhood?
you know, it was kind of a mixed bag because there were a lot of older people. So
Okay. I was about to inquire whether any of the creepy neighbors did
Yeah,
anything
just
creepy.
popped over.
no, I can say that at a certain point we left the dish of candy out
Oh,
on
right.
the honor system,
Yeah.
and that was
It's always dishonorable.
oh, it lasted probably 15 minutes, and
Damn.
it was all gone.
Nobody got no honor.
It was the neighbors.
For
Yeah,
sure.
it probably
Okay.
was,
Yeah.
right? And I'll say this too. There were a couple of other incidences leading up to this where at night I would be like, man, I'm laying in bed and I'd totally be pretty convinced that I thought I heard some footsteps, you know, because but those old floors, because you know, old hardwood floors,
Yeah.
they make noise all day. So
Regardless.
yeah, in a house heating up, cooling down.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
So-
got some hardwood floors. They definitely make some creaks.
They're not quiet, but at the same time, somebody walking has a
Yes.
A
certain
little bit more distinct.
distinct kind of signature sound.
Definitely.
So you know, I would swear that I would hear that, and you know, I'd go look, and I wouldn't find anybody, obviously, thankfully.
Yeah.
But it was still so peculiar that, you know, I tried to again kind of say, well, you must just be hearing maybe the way that it's like echoing through the hallway
Yeah.
is giving it a different type of
You're
sound.
trying to
Tell
rationalize.
yourself whatever you can.
to get back to sleep that
Yeah.
night. Yeah, exactly. So this Halloween that we were there, that's kind of where I'm leading up to, is after, you know, the festivities have died down and whatever festivities there were. I mean, our candy was gone at that point, but after the you know, permitted hours for trick or treating in the evening and kind of winded down, we're in bed. You know, similar kind of thing starts happening where I'm like, man, you know, that sounds like somebody's here. And I'm like telling myself, well, Devil's Night was the other night, you know.
And
so
that's just like mischief night where you
yeah, like a mischief night.
The night before Halloween, where kids act like douchebags and TP
TV houses,
and yeah.
egg houses.
So yeah, so I'm
It's
like,
so interesting that's like culturally there's got different. I never heard Devil's
Yeah, I've
Night
never heard that
before.
before.
maybe
but-
that's a Michigan thing.
It probably is. Yeah.
Listen, it adds up. Those...
Side note, do you remember the pumpkin smashers?
Like on Devil's Night.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So okay, I remember like there was an episode of Pete and Pete. You remember Pete and Pete on Nickelodeon, where they were like scared of the pumpkin smashers.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember if like because of that episode it became an urban legend, or that episode did it because it already was like an urban legend. Obviously, there were kids going around smashing pumpkins.
Right.
But like that being such a deep thing in pop, I remember going around and like we were like, oh man, fuck, if there's pumpkin smashers out, they're gonna get us.
What a bunch of assholes! Like,
No, fuck those kids.
If you're out there smashing pumpkins and TPing and egging houses, fuck you.
No, facts.
Yeah, that's. I
I'm
mean,
not
it's-
even cutting that. I want you to know.
I want you to know.
I fucking hate you.
But all that to say, so Devil's Night was the night before, so
Right.
you knew it couldn't be pumpkin smashers.
It was pretty unlikely, at least is what I thought. But you know, I'm again trying to rationalize. I'm like, is there some way that like somebody thought like, yo, let's go sneak into this
Right.
old house or that kind of thing?
Yeah.
like a
So-
dare.
a dare or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right. So you know, I kind of start. I'm not seeing anything on the cameras. You know, that's the other thing. Check that. So
Is it coming to your phone?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm able to kind of like look around a little bit, but the cameras don't cover everything. I try to place them strategically enough where I'd be able to see like the entrance and
Sure,
and exits
sure.
You
kind
got
of
your
thing.
blind spots.
Exactly. So I'm not seeing anything that looked too suspicious, but I'm hearing this noise.
Still hearing the footsteps.
Yeah, occasionally, you know,
Yeah.
it would be something. It wasn't continuous, but it was occasionally enough to pique my curiosity. Where I was like, okay, I'm gonna
Gotta go look.
Go look.
Yeah.
So you know, I kind of
I commend your bravery for multiple
Yeah.
times going to look on your own.
I'm not going to look.
Because it's like, for me, as if I think it's a person, I'm definitely going to look. But if there's any inkling that I think it's a ghost, like, I don't want to go look.
I'm definitely leaving.
Yeah, for sure. Like,
well, but you got to get past whatever's there. if you're leaving.
that's the thing. Yeah,
Shit,
no,
you're
yeah.
right.
For me, I would be like, well, maybe just under the covers is gonna work. I
Yeah.
don't know. Is
You
it-
won't-
Climb
you
out
won't
the
see
window.
me.
It's like-
Out the window is where I go.
yeah, that's okay. So you go to look.
So I'm going to look, and you know, I get eventually to the top of the basement stairs, and I'm like hearing a noise coming from down there, and it's at this point it's not
From the fucking basement.
from the basement, yeah, and so at this point it's not footsteps because that floor is
Yeah.
concrete.
Oh.
There was wooden steps going down to the basement, but once you get down there, you can't really hear if somebody's, you know, coming up behind you or something like that. So
Right.
so I'm like, I'm trying to be quiet on the wooden steps, which is,
Yeah.
you know,
Almost impossible.
impossible.
Even for the most skilled of ninjas.
Even for the most, and I'm doing the ninja moves, you know, so- but it was to no avail. So I'm thinking like, okay, if there is somebody down here, they're gonna hear me coming. So I'm like, yo, if there's somebody down here, I'm gonna call the cops, just so you know. Like I'm like, I've got cameras. I probably even like maybe lied a little bit, and I was like, I've got you on camera, you know,
Right,
that
right.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not hearing anything, so I'm like, all right, well, if it were me, and I guess I don't break into houses, but if
You're not
I
a
did,
B&E artist.
you know, that was a career I left behind. so I'm like, but if it were me and somebody said that, I might probably be like, oh, this isn't, you know, so and so's house. Like, oh, my bad. You know, I try to find some way
to
course,
get
of
out of
course.
explain.
it.
Yeah.
But I'm getting nothing. I'm getting no response. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'm gonna go down.
Is the hair standing up on the back of your neck at this point?
absolutely
Like, yeah,
all the way? You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, but I'm like, I got to go back down there, or I got to go down there because I can't go back to bed after that and like close my eyes.
No,
and be
no,
like,
there's
you know,
no way. There's
Absolutely
no way.
not.
I got to know. So I go down there, and finally I get to the bottom of the stairs, and
My heart is palpitating.
mine was like, you know, if anybody was down there, they probably could have heard it. So
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, you know, I'm gonna pull. Well, let me back up too. like I said, I stopped hearing the footsteps,
Right.
but I started hearing a different noise that, for me, I was like, okay, it sounds different. It sounds, and I didn't want to really let myself think this.
Okay.
But I'm like, it does sound a lot like those old glass handles on the door.
I knew that was going to be a problem. I knew it was going to be a problem.
Called it.
Yeah.
Because they're over time they loosen up, so they kind of have they tend to like jiggle.
I'm pretty sure those things come haunted.
They should have a warning on them when you go through.
Yeah.
So now I'm at the bottom of the stairs. I'm not hearing the footsteps, but I've heard this other sound, and I'm hearing that from a distance. So again, I'm like, I can't totally pinpoint it, but that's to me kind of what it seemed like. So
from the bottom of the stairs, how far back approximately is the creepy wooden door with that handle?
I would say it was 15-ish feet.
Okay.
20, maybe 20 feet.
Okay.
But you have to go through another little, not even doorway, like archway till you get into there. So you couldn't
even worse.
see it
Yeah.
from the stairs.
And it's pitch black.
And it's dark in there.
You got that one flickering light.
Yeah, the top. So okay, that was one of the things we ended up having to repair. That at this time was kind of out of commission. Was there should have been a 3-way light switch at the top of the stairs.
Okay.
So you could turn it from the top and from the bottom, but there wasn't. So after you get down those stairs, now you're in the territory of the pull string light.
Okay.
So it's dark, other than the light coming in from the kitchen that I probably had on, or either top.
So very faint.
Top of the stairs, but not on the stairs. I
Right.
guess it's kind of a weird description, but yeah. So it was a faint light, to put it the way you put it is very correct. Just pretty much enough to see, and you did have to be careful that you weren't going to trip, kind of thing. So,
Step on a nail like Marv.
I mean, that's actually very accurate. And one of the things that I did do, those stairs had been carpeted over the years, but it was like nasty carpet. So
it's
I can imagine.
100-year-old carpet almost.
I mean, I would say this had to have been like maybe 70s, 80s kind of nasty carpet. It was almost worse than like an old beautiful looking thing.
I mean, that is far worse. 70s
definitely.
carpet just sounds like the grimiest.
Yeah.
So I
You
did
don't know
pull
what's
that
in
up.
there.
Like, so what you're saying about nails and that kind of thing,
Yeah.
like you did have to watch your stuff.
Very real risk.
Very real risk at that point.
Did you have your tetanus shot?
Actually, I needed an update at that time.
So the stakes are even
be-
higher
yeah.
right
the
now.
stakes are quite high,
Yeah.
yeah. So, like I say, there's light coming down, but it's not the light from this actual stairway. It's from like the room on, at the other side of the top of the basement stairs, because there was a door that was shut to the stairs, which I did have open, but didn't really do a whole lot there. I should have brought a flashlight for one thing. Like, what are you doing?
Hindsight is
Yeah, you're not
2020. Like you
thinking
never
about
think
that.
about these things until
That's very true. Hindsight is 2020. So anyway, now I'm at the bottom of the stairs, and
Right.
I'm gonna walk in and pull the string.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And honestly, that was probably the creepiest, height of the creepiest.
Of course.
Well, I guess so. I thought.
Oh, God.
Wow.
So I pulled the string, and I'm like looking around, like ready to see if there's a person down there. And the thing that immediately struck me is that
So the light went on.
the light went on when I pulled the string. Yeah.
Okay.
But this is now I'm in the room now, so it's not like the stairway light. I'm like fully in the basement.
Yeah.
So I couldn't just like turn and run up the stairs.
No, you're in the
Yeah.
danger zone. You're in it.
It was absolutely like all the way in the zone. So the first thing that strikes me is I'm like, that old creepy wooden door is open.
Get the fuck out of here,
out.
bro.
And so to offer a little more detail, this door is not one that it never popped open on its own.
Right.
You had to like go and pull on it, because on the other side, like we said, there was like, dirt floors and stuff.
Yeah, it's hard to
So
open.
it was always like basically jammed.
Like a stuck kind of a door. Like you
Yeah.
got to put some elbow grease in it to get it open.
Yeah, absolutely, because that humidity and everything
Yeah.
on the other side.
So this door is not just falling open.
it's not. I never saw it do that.
Fuck
Yeah.
out of here, bro.
That's so
God damn
scary.
it. Yeah.
So yeah, at that point I'm like, all right, just to say you did it and make sure that there's nobody there.
Yo.
You better go just like at least peek your head. I wasn't going all the way inside
Bruh.
because I already know.
Son, I don't even know how to... Bro, I would have been up them motherfucking stairs.
Running out that house,
Yeah.
lighting a match, and burning it all.
Adam is a certified bad man.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to hear anybody questioning Adam's certifications out here.
Yeah.
Well, but because I was like, I gotta know, like at this point, like it's open. So did I miss something? Is there somebody in here?
Yeah.
Maybe they just didn't say anything when I said
Right.
all that stuff about calling the cops and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I had to go poke my head in, but I knew, I was like, don't you dare go into the room. Because what's gonna happen. I was like,
Yeah, that door's
I'm
gonna
not getting
shut.
stuck in this room.
Yeah, you've seen enough movies.
I've seen enough movies to know, like, at this point, I've probably done all the stupid movie character things that a
Yeah.
person could do. I'm not doing that one.
That's because
No.
that's the nail in the coffin.
You're
That
done in
is.
there.
Yeah.
That door is the coffin closing on
Yeah,
you.
Yeah,
that's
you're
a wrap.
joining whoever the fuck else is in
Is
there.
in there, yeah.
Yep.
Permanently.
So I didn't see anybody in my, head peeking in type of glance into the room. But that was all I was willing to do with that.
I think you made a good call.
I'm going back upstairs. I'm going to lock the doors behind me, the
And
bedroom
did you?
door.
Well,
yeah.
did you like that door?
Well, actually, that particular door didn't have a lock on it. But the door that I did lock was the bedroom door and the door at the top of the stairs.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. But did you close it in?
I feel like you probably
I
didn't
don't
want
even
to touch it.
I don't even remember if I did.
Right. Because I was. Yeah. I wouldn't.
wouldn't touch it.
I wouldn't even touch it. Yeah.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
even be down there once again. If
Well,
I'm
yeah,
hearing
yeah,
noise.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't actually. This is kind of jogging my memory because another weird thing in that basement was there was another door that this was like much more like not is I guess you could call that the room we just talked about, like built out, and nothing weird happened with this other one, but something that I noticed that always struck me as odd was on this other door. This wasn't even like made out of a door. This was like some like pieces of wood, and it really didn't go very far. Like I was like, this must be like, I don't know, storage or something like that. But it had one of those slide locks
Oh, yeah,
on
yeah.
the outside of the door.
Oh.
And I was always
wow.
like, why would it be like
on the
that?
outside of the
we,
door.
we know exactly why.
Yeah, I mean, because in a small, if it's a storage closet, like you're probably not gonna need a lock on it whatsoever. Like,
Right,
Yeah.
why
yeah.
would you wouldn't
Because
go,
you live in
You're locking
there.
people in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it wouldn't make sense either way for it to have a lock because you wouldn't go in a weird little room.
Yeah.
I
Right.
mean, like I said, this was smaller than the other thing. It was like, it wasn't dirt floors and stuff. It was kind of like just this other little, area that kind of had a makeshift. Like I always thought it was like tool storage, but it was big enough that it had this door on it.
Tools, bodies, anything
Yeah.
you need.
Anything you
It's
need to put
giving
in it.
chokey.
So
Yeah.
right. So yeah, talking about the other door, that kind of jogged my memory where I was like, man, that's so weird that they would have a lock on the outside of it.
Very creepy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just, to me, it never made sense because you wouldn't go inside and lock yourself in with like the gardening tools. Like,
Right.
Why would you do that? And you probably wouldn't lock the gardening tools up behind a relatively makeshift.
I mean, that's like having a lock on a utility closet. Like, you know what I mean? You
Yeah,
wouldn't.
why would you need that? Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that always struck me as weird, but the rest of the night I didn't really like hear a lot. I think I probably turned on the TV, after I locked
Yeah.
the door and just,
Were you able to fall asleep?
to be honest, I'm a late night type of person anyway, so I probably stayed up till 4:30 watching HBO or something, and just
Right.
Yeah.
any noise I heard, I had the volume up, so anything that I heard that could have been a noise, like I said, I don't really recall anything happening after that, but I had a easy out for me to that was probably on the TV, or
Yeah.
that was
Right.
so
At least for your mind to be at ease.
Yeah.
for my mind to be at ease.
This whole time, Ash is just peacefully sleeping.
Sleeping.
So she's asleep, yeah. So I'm like, I could have
amazing.
gotten, sucked
in
into
that
the
room.
hell that was behind
Yeah.
that door, and nobody would have ever heard
There
from
could
me
be a
again.
spirit just whooping your ass inside that room all night long.
Yeah.
And
For all eternity.
for all eternity.
And yeah, what evidence would there have been where I even went?
None.
Yeah. No, it would have dragged you behind.
Oh,
You know what
that
I mean?
area,
That
yeah.
area, yeah.
yeah, exactly. I would have been.
And then on this podcast, we would have been talking about the disappearance of Adam Eugenio.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't end up staying in the place for too much longer. I mean, we didn't. It's not like we just immediately moved out.
So did that incident give you a sense of urgency to want to leave?
I mean, yes and no, because the obvious creepy factor, but no, because I'm like, nothing did happen to me.
That's
Sure.
only because you didn't go in there.
It's because maybe that's because I didn't.
Yeah, no.
wander
Let's
far
keep
enough.
it all the way a buck, right? If you had gone in there, you probably
You would not be here
there.
today.
Yeah, that's probably true. So
I can imagine there's like a demonic spirit in there, and he's just like waiting. And as soon as you didn't fully enter, you just poked it. He was like, "Damn,
yeah, ruined my plan.
yeah, fuck
That's like
this dude."
That's like a Family Guy skit.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah, it totally is. So yeah, man, all those things added up together. It was definitely a place that I won't be forgetting. But
I won't be forgetting it either.
Were you there? You said you kind of moved out not that long ago. Were you there for another Halloween, or you moved out before then?
I actually think we might have moved out before, like maybe late summer before
Okay,
that.
okay.
It's been a minute now, so I don't totally remember, but I don't know how to explain what happened, but I do think that, maybe I say they, like I know for a fact there was some
I know for a fact.
Yes,
I
there
know
was
for
definitely
a fact.
something
Yeah.
that shouldn't have been there that was lingered.
Maybe they started like being more cool with me after that. Like, I don't know, but
Maybe
this guy's a badass.
Yeah, but I say maybe they respected your gangsta, bro. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because
maybe so.
Or, you know what else? Much like The Watcher, this could have been interconnected tunnels in the house, and it was your neighbors all along.
I mean, that's what
that-
happened in The Watcher. Yeah,
Yeah.
That could be an explanation.
Which
I mean,
is creepier almost.
quite a bit creepier. Yeah.
yeah, I would say so. I mean, they definitely had movie character kind of vibes to them, horror movie character, I should specify.
It sounds like it. So after that incident, I'm assuming, of course, nothing to that level happened again before you left. But little things like,
Yeah,
did you continue
footsteps.
hearing footsteps, things like that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why I didn't get the stupid cloud plan. You'd think that you'd be like, all right, now I
Listen,
got to record.
Yeah, but it's it's another charge.
It wasn't. Yeah, that's the thing.
Like-
Is like I hate when I forget that I'm subscribed to something.
Yeah.
and then,
Yeah.
a year goes by or whatever. I probably should have, but I didn't get the subscription. So I did hear noises, occasionally, but nothing that was of the same level as
Right.
that whole experience.
So after that, you had to keep going down there to do your laundry.
Yeah. Had to do laundry.
I imagine you never did it at night.
Not for a long time.
Yeah.
There did come a time where like I kind of just had to be comfortable enough to go down there because if you need laundry, you need laundry. for the
Right,
next
right.
day. But yeah, I didn't totally love going down there. I'll definitely say that. So
Did you ever make Ash be like, "Yo, I gotta go do the laundry. Come with me"?
no, I never really did that. But maybe I should have. I don't.
I would have. I would.
Yeah, there's no way I'm going
buddy
down there
system
myself.
for sure. If you're going down there, buddy system for
And
sure.
if we're going down, we're going down together.
It probably would have been a better plan. Yeah, I guess I should have thought of that. But I guess I developed a little bit of a level of comfort with it because I was like, all right, well, at that point, I would say that it was a situation where if the worst thing was going to happen, which I would consider the worst thing to be getting sucked inside the door and never to return again.
Yeah.
If that didn't happen, then what else was really going to happen?
Dude, I think you sort of like faced the ultimate challenge and won.
Yeah,
in a way,
that's what
right?
it sounds like to me.
That's what it sounds like. You were the movie character that didn't do the final silly thing.
Yeah.
and so you survived.
They spared
Maybe
you that
so.
day.
So they spared you. Yeah.
The next person to live in that house may not have been so lucky.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, who knows?
Yeah,
you know?
who fucking knows? Well, I have to say, from what I've heard here, I have to respect a spirit that acts up more on Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that's the spirit of Halloween. You know
It
what I
is,
mean?
it
Like
is. The
obviously,
Halloween
and
spirit.
I like the lead up, right? Some bumps in the night and shit
Yeah.
like that. But at least the spirit was like, you know what? On Halloween day,
I'm going to fuck with you.
Going for it, yeah.
I'm going for it.
A Halloween trickster.
I mean, unless maybe something happened
On Halloween, for
Halloween.
that
Yeah?
spirit, yeah.
Maybe
Who
it was an
fucking
ultimate
knows, man?
cult sacrifice or something. Did you ever find any weird old things, or bones or anything?
I'll say this. I never found any like artifacts.
Man,
I mean, we definitely do know, without a doubt, that some murders went down in your 100-year-old house.
well, something went down.
Something
went down.
probably happened.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
who
mean,
knows?
something
Murders.
bad happened to somebody in there.
Somebody got killed there.
Or some like ceremony was done. I
Right.
mean, who knows?
I mean, some sort
There's
of
a skeleton
entities
on the other
were
side of that
contacted, perhaps multiple.
yeah,
Perhaps
there's
multiple-
bodies. There's bodies.
There's bodies. It seems like they maybe wanted to add Adam to the collection.
Yeah,
thankfully, I think I got out of
You
there in the
swerved.
nick of
You
time.
did.
Yeah.
You swerved.
You're like, I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, I was not gonna go in that room. There was just no way, because
Right, right.
of all the stupid things that I've done, that one was one that I'm like, all right, if this is gonna happen, I can see that coming from a mile away.
Yeah.
I'm not going in there.
Not
Yeah.
today, Satan.
Exactly. Not today at all. So
Take care now. Bye then.
absolutely, Ace Ventura, man. Absolutely, that wasn't gonna happen. I mean, there could have been $1 million chilling on the
Yeah,
other side of
and
that.
that's how they get you.
Yeah.
That's probably how they get.
Yeah, dangle a little something of value, and then all of a sudden,
Yeah, $1 million
that-
got you, bitch.
all of a sudden, that door that's not easy to open slams shut.
And then what do? Yeah,
can't
it doesn't
spend
open
it.
so easy, you know. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't spend it in there.
Yeah,
So it doesn't make sense to go for it if there's some kind of,
it doesn't.
monetary treasure or
It
something.
doesn't. Man, that was an amazing Halloween story.
Absolutely. That's like one of the best Halloween stories.
I mean,
I've
when
ever heard.
when I tell you, there's multiple times I was goosebumping over here.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, heart palpitating as if I was in the situation.
Call him R.L. Stein.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Dude, you're a great storyteller.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks.
Great
man.
storyteller. Yeah.
Maybe this will become my debut movie or something. Write
Yeah.
a movie.
Maybe it should, man. Maybe it should.
Absolutely.
Wheels are turning now. So-
Yeah.
There we go. There we go. Well, you are a jack of many trades. I should
Yes.
actually just say you're a master of many trades.
Oh,
Yes.
that's a too kind. That's too kind. But I do like to dabble in a lot of things. Not satanic rituals behind
No.
creepy doors, though. That's off limits for me.
Oh my God. It was probably the spirits of the religious males trying to induct another.
Yo, like, you
Man.
never know. I mean, I can't say for certain what did or did not go down in that house. Who
No,
could
who-
really?
who's
I
to
guess,
say? Who's
other
to
than,
say?
Than those who were there. But yeah, thanks for letting me tell the
Man, well,
tell the
no,
story.
dude,
That was
thanks for being a guest on
incredible.
our podcast.
Yes.
It's so dope that you had a story since you're such a good friend and you did our theme song.
Yeah.
So
We
it's-
came full circle.
Yeah, it's nice to
Yeah.
have you as a guest telling a
Yeah.
story now. And for all the listeners and the viewers, you can keep up with Adam at Adam Eugenio on all platforms. That's
Yes.
correct, right?
Yeah,
So it's
absolutely.
at Adam, and Eugenio is EUGENIO.
That's
Boom.
me.
On TikTok, Instagram, anywhere that you consume content, YouTube, he's got a lot of dope content out there,
does.
and you're going to want to keep up with it for sure.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah. And that about wraps it up for another episode of Ectoplasm and Evil. We'll see you next time.
Or will we?
Ah!